What's up, yo? This is DJ HaveBoard. I'm here to show you how to use the custom MIDI map file that I made for your Pioneer DJM-S9. Uses the 4 user modes to sort of mimic a split pad mode, sort of like on the 72. So first thing you're going to want to do, pull up your browser, go to djhaveboard.com. I have it right in the menu right now, S9 MIDI map download. So you're going to go to that so you can download this file. You're going to want to put it in your Serato folders, which I'll show you here. So you scroll down here. There's this button. It says download. You can go through the whole post and read the details of how the MIDI map works. But in the meantime, we're just going to save this XML file to your desktop. So that finished downloading. And now we can hide the browser. So we have our custom S9 file here on our desktop, and you're going to want to go to your Serato folder, which is usually users, your computer username, music, and then underscore Serato underscore. From there, scroll down and find the MIDI folder, and then find the XML folder. And you're going to want to drag this XML file into that XML folder. So now you see I have in the MIDI XML the S9 custom user modes by HaveBoard.xml. So now what you want to do, go over to your Serato. In the top right corner, you're going to want to go into the MIDI tab on top here, select your S9, make sure allow hardware remapping is checked. Select the S9 Custom User Modes by HaveBoard Mapping and click Load. And you will see right next to the MIDI presets, it's going to say Current Preset S9 Custom User Modes by HaveBoard. So now we have it all loaded up. Another thing you're going to want to do to make this a little easier is open up your S9 tutorial. Just go to the top and into Spotlight. Type in S9, open up that DJM-S9 settings utility. From here, under preferences, you want to make sure pad mode options is checked. That way you don't have to use the shift button to enable the custom user modes. So now that you have that enabled, you won't have to use shift to get in the user mode. The way to get in the user mode is you triple tap these buttons. So first one, you sometimes have to do it 4 times. Push that 3 or 4 times to get, push hotkey 3 or 4 times to get into the first user mode. What you have here is your left deck's first 4 cue points, and then sample 1 through 4 on the bottom pads. On the right, you have the first 4 cue points for your right deck and your sample slots 5 through 8. Push roll 3 times to get into user mode 2. Now from here, you have the same. You have the first 4 cue points for the left and right deck respectively on each side. And then you'll have your rolls. And I did them from the outside in, lowest to highest. It's set to 1/8, 1/4, 1/2, 1. 1/8, 1/4, 1/2, 1. Slicer 3 times to get into user mode 3 puts all 8 of your pads for the left deck on the left side and all 8 of your sample slots from your sample bank on the right side. And then same for the sampler. Push that 3 times. You have your right deck's all 8 cue points on the right, and the left deck is 1 through 8 of your sample slots. This makes it a little trickier to get into pitch play, which you kind of hit sample once, wait, sample again. Now you're in pitch play. If you just hit it fast, it sometimes just goes right over to sample roll. It's a little easier to get into pitch play when you don't have that pad mode option checked. But I think once you get used to it, it took me a second. See. 1, 2. See, now we're in the pitch play mode. And in case you don't know pitch play, you can also shift what key that pitch play uses with your parameter options. But that's a whole nother tutorial. So let's go back in here, start with the first user mode, and do a little demo. So we're going to go ahead and user mode 1 shows the samples on the bottom row and cues on the top row. You do have to select the bank from within the program, which bank of samples you do want to use. I did have it mapped to the parameter buttons, but it was affecting the parameters in the other pad modes, so I had to take it out. So if you downloaded it when I originally released it, you're going to want to go and grab the 1.0.1 version, which updated a little bit of color differences and took out the banks on the parameter. One other thing to note, for the cue points, it doesn't read the color of the cue points within the program. They're actually hard-coded colors into the mapping. Haven't quite figured out how to have the custom modes read the colors in the pad mode, in the cue points that you have in the program. Hopefully at a later time I can get that updated. All right, let's go show this off a little bit.
That's a good song. That's a good song. That's a good song. That's a good song. That's a good song.
So that's pretty much the first user mode. A little quick sloppy juggle showing you can hit the cue points, jump into the sample banks without having to switch any of the pad modes. All right, now we're going to show off the second user mode, which shows off the rolls. So you get the idea. A little sloppy, but whatever. It's just a tutorial. Bottom two, samples on the right, pads on the left, or samples on the left, pads on the right. This is kind of good for people that just use one deck and just do instant doubles. That way they can always have their dedicated pads on the one side and their cues on the other, so they don't got to keep switching back and forth, especially since they only have the one deck that they're using.
That's a good song.
Pretty simple. I'll switch over to instant doubles here and just kind of show a little bit. All right, so now we can show off the instant doubles. If you're just using a right deck, you can have all your pads on the left. I'll be using double tap on the load to reload the track onto the left deck. I have the left deck on internal right now.
That's a good song. That's a good song. That's a good song. That's a good song.
All right, so now we'll show off the using just the left deck with the pads on the right.
That's a good song. 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 That's a good song.
So that's really it. That's how you use this custom MIDI map file to kind of mimic those split decks. Stay tuned. Follow DJ HaveBoard on Facebook. Check out djhaveboard.com, HaveBoard or DJ HaveBoard on Instagram. Twitter is HaveBoard. And hope you enjoy it. Link me up if you do any routines and you use this MIDI map, or go ahead and share it. Appreciate it. Peace.